Y'all are in for a treat today with this bonus episode from an interview that I did with Emily Collins, where we talk all about how she manages to balance doing and building her business along with raising her 4 kids and homeschooling them. So enjoy. I am so excited for this interview. It has been a long time coming, and I can't wait to chat with Emily. She is also a homeschool mom, and I'm going to let her introduce herself, say what she does, and then we're just going to start talking about how she sets boundaries and creates a family-centered business. So, uh, just introduce yourself.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for having me on. I'm Emily Collins, and yeah, we have 4 kids. We homeschool them. Really, we're in the unschooling and world schooling side of things. And they're 8, 6, almost 4, and 1. So we definitely have our hands full, and it's wild at times. I have a coaching and mastermind business. I have a business partner that I do the masterminds with, and that's really for female entrepreneurs. And we help them with mindset, business strategy, and then really that community piece that's so important as you're growing a business. So that is something that is totally lighting me up right now. And we're working really hard on kind of building that out together.
Oh, that sounds awesome. So, tell me, how did you build your business, and did it start before you had kids, or did it start after you have kids, and how do you balance that all?
Yes, many layers to that. So, my husband is also super entrepreneurial, and we both always have been. So, before we had kids, he had a large business that he was running, and I really ran all of our investments, real estate, and all of that. When we had kids, I knew that I wanted to be at home with them. That was really important to me. And we've always raised them really intentionally and wanted to be really involved with that. So, this version of what I'm doing is actually pretty new. I've launched it, call it November, December of last year. But truly, this work has been happening all along. And I finally felt like I was in a season where I could really do this and dive in. And I didn't feel that it was going to take me away from my family. I felt like I finally found a way where the two are happening and really supporting each other, both my life with my kids and my family, and then also the business.
Yeah. So, break that down practically for me. Like, what does that look like? Do you get up really early in the morning? Do you work really late at night? How does that work? Because I have 3 kids and they're a little bit older than you, and I know it's hard to balance that.
Yeah. So my husband and I do tag team a lot. I mean, we really look at his business, my business, and our life really as one. So it's what do we need to prioritize right now? What is your business needing? What is my business needing? How much time are you needing? It's a constant conversation. Practically on a daily basis, I do get up really early. I get up at 4:30. And that's less about work actually, and that's more about me. And with 4 kids, as you know, I just need to be my absolute best by the time that they walk down and start asking me for things. So, my morning routine is like I get up, I read, I go for a walk or a run, or I work out. I'll journal and just really take that time for me. I might do some work if I have time also, but it's really just getting like centered before the chaos arrives.
Yes. Oh, I hear that. I actually get up at 3:55
Oh,
every
wow.
morning.
That's
But
amazing.
that's because, like you said, it's not because I'm just like wonderful or get a bunch of business done. It's really more because it's for me. And then by the time my kids get up, I have lived kind of some life. And then I'm
Yes.
like, okay, yeah. So I
Yeah.
love that. Another early morning person. Everyone like rolls their eyes when I say that, but I'm like, no, you don't understand it. I actually like it.
It does. It becomes addicting, and it's now just like a non-negotiable part of my day. And if there's times where I'm tired or I don't do it, I just see how that throws the whole day off. So it's almost like the cost is too much and it's not worth like sleeping in a bit, for me.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, so you get up early, and so I'm super curious then after your kids get up, like what does that look like? And then how do you fit in work?
Yeah, definitely. I think in terms of, balance, so to speak, it's really what is the what's your morning routine? What does your day look like? But it's also what does your week look like? So for us, I need 3 days to work and I just need that to be like focused. I batch everything. And then my husband kind of asks for the same thing. So we do a lot of balancing there. When we're at home, the 2 older boys go to like a hybrid homeschool. So they'll go 2 days a week. They do a bunch of cool electives and they do some academics there too. So that gives us some time. So really it's being intentional about when am I working and when am I with the kids so that I don't ever feel pulled in a million directions. It's obviously a constant conversation between my husband and I and just communicating like what do we need, what do the kids need, what's happening this week, what sports do we have and all of that. But I really try to just block out that time so I can be focused and just get a ton done.
So, okay, now I'm curious because this is a place that I'm lacking in. I have like systems and routines, but I do have a hard time having the focus. I feel like my attention goes everywhere. So, how do you make sure that you take when you're taking that day, like you're actually batching and getting everything you need to do done?
Yeah, that's definitely something that I'm knee deep in right now is just systems and how do I create systems for every single part of my business and life really, but let's talk about business for now. I'm in Notion, so I am like super organized in Notion. Not everything has a system, but that's purely because I'm still building it. And so it's really just understanding what are the tasks that are maintenance tasks for the business and what are the growth tasks and how am I balancing that and making sure that I'm not just getting caught up in fires and what clients need and emails and all of that stuff that's constantly coming our way.
Yeah. So, do you use AI at all with creating your systems and stuff?
Yes, actually. So when I first got on Notion, I felt really overwhelmed. And then ChatGPT came and saved the day and really helped me think through like what is a good system as I scale this business because I'm not trying to have a small business. I'm trying to have this huge, building this huge business. And how can I do that in a way where I'm not working all the time and I'm not stressed out all the time and I'm not exchanging time for money? So those systems become really important and ChatGPT has been, so important in that.
Oh, perfect. So give me an example of like a prompt that you would use, or you can just like rough it. I don't care.
Oh God, I'm asking Chat everything. My business partner and I are always joking because we're like, oh, well, we asked Chat that, and this is what Chat said. In terms of Notion, I really explained to Chat, this is how I want the system to work. These are the pieces of it. Even on my own podcast, it's like, I need to have guests. So how that guest is going to come through a form, then what's going to happen with the form? Where is that going to go? And really thinking through the whole process of things that are happening weekly. My podcast happens weekly, content happens weekly. So anything that's like that really needs a solid system and to have thought through that. Where can I take myself out of it? So the system is not relying on me and it's just happening automatically.
I love that what you did was you actually told it what you wanted
Yeah.
instead of asking it to just give you a bunch of ideas or what should I do? So that's kind of something that I've been thinking about with AI is that I want to make sure that I'm the creative brain behind it and then I'm telling it like, hey, this is what I want to accomplish and here's what I want it to look like. And then it helps kind of fill in those pieces where it can create that system for us.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think where Chat's helped me a lot is just putting all those little pieces together and thinking through the system because I'm always thinking, will this scale as I build my business? I'm not trying to create a band-aid system. I really want to create a solid foundation for my business.
I know that one thing that we had kind of talked about off the recording is how you make intentional decisions. So I would love for you just to like walk me through that.
Yeah, I think the number one question that I get from people when they see my life is how do you do it all? How do you balance it all? And I think your question's a good one because what you're really asking is, well, like, how do you make those decisions? For me, it comes down to values every single time. Like, what are your family values as a family unit? What is the core of like what you're trying to do? What's important? And for us, that's really like freedom, presence. When I'm with the kids, I want to be with the kids. And when I'm working, I want to go in all in on my work because I love what I do. And the others are curiosity. I want us all to be questioning as a family always. I want the kids to be curious. I want us to be curious of like, is our life working right now? How is this the right path for us? Like just constantly be thinking, how can we grow and learn and evolve? And the others are adventure and play. For us, that is just like a non-negotiable. Life is short and we want it to be full of fun as a family. So once you have your core family values, to me, the rest is easy because then every decision goes back to, well, is this supporting our family values? So everything for us, every decision, even business opportunities, even travel opportunities, any of it, we go through the lens of what's best for the family. And does that decision, whether it's yes or no, really support what we're trying to do with our values and the life that we want to live? Does that make sense?
Yes. Oh, that's super helpful. I love that. I think sometimes well, not really sometimes. I think a lot of us are just like in a survival where we're like, oh, okay, this is probably a good thing. Let's do this. Okay, let's do this. And we're so trying to raise our kids and grow our business and everything that we forget to go back to what's actually important to us. So I love that you have that kind of that foundation of just what is actually important to us. And if that opportunity or that decision doesn't align with that, then it's a no. How did you guys come up with your values? Is it just something you and your husband sat down and were like, okay, let's brainstorm this, or what?
Good question. I will answer that question, and I'll also add that I think most often when people are feeling, I don't have any balance, I'm pulled in a million directions, I'm just trying to survive, it's because actually those values aren't clear, right? And we're
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
we're on autopilot, just trying to survive. If we really take a step back and even a bird's eye view of like, this is my life that I'm creating. What do I want my life to look like? And starting from that higher level thinking in terms of how this has evolved for us, it's been a journey. We've been together almost 13 years. I've always been somebody that questions things like, why do we do it like that? Why does society tell us to do that? It's just how my brain works. But we weren't, we didn't always have this vision of our life as we do so clearly now. It really evolved over time. I think the first big decision was to be an entrepreneur. Obviously that's a different path. Then the next decision is to be home with the kids. That's kind of not a different path, but it's an intentional one. And then after that, became my oldest is about to go into kindergarten. Are we going to send him to public school? So that was a big life moment of like, wait a second, what's right for us? What do we want to do here? We're not just going to, go on autopilot here. We're really going to think through this huge decision. And then we started homeschooling. So that obviously dictated our life. So I think it started out with just making intentional decisions, and the more
Mm.
intentional decisions we made, the clearer the picture got. And we really, and questioning, we're making intentional decisions and we're questioning things. And the two of those kind of come together and we started really getting this like clear vision of what do we want this life to look like? What does it look like with 4 kids? What do we want? Where do we want to live? Like the anything is possible. And so not to get too deep into it all, but we spent a year world schooling. And I think taking yourself out of your normal routine really pushes you outside of your comfort zone to be that much more intentional and to really ask yourself what's important to us as a family. And
Mm.
so a lot of learning came from that year. And I think that really catapulted us into, again, this clear picture of our life and how we want it to run, how we want business to support our life, not the other way around. Just creating our own path.
Yeah, I love that. So I want to know for like the mom that's listening to this who is struggling to figure out the values and stuff, can you give us just like 2 or 3 small steps that she can take today to like, I know like the step back and look at the broad picture, but let's just say that she's like in the midst of it, already super overwhelmed. What is like a couple things she can just do today that will start kind of letting her know like what those values are so she can start saying no to things and then yes to the good things?
Yeah, I don't think it has to be this big, huge life decision. It's really just awareness too, or maybe sitting down for 10 minutes and just thinking through what do your days look like? What does your week look like? And just coming back to what do I really want my day and my week to look like? And what are the values that are supporting that? Maybe it's I want to spend a lot of time with my kids. Maybe a time together is important. Maybe it's adventure. A lot of people that I know, they say adventure is really important to them. And so when they're not doing that, they feel out of alignment. So, obviously this is family specific and it's hard to say, but yeah, just really just questioning like, what are the top 3 most important things for our family right now? And keeping in mind
Mm-hmm.
that that can change through seasons. As your kids get older, certain things become possible. When you're in the thick of it with, young kids, obviously priorities shift, but it's like, what are the priorities? What are just the most important things to us? You know, your partner and you.
Yeah, that's very good. So, as we kind of like wrap up, I want to hear more about your business a little bit more in depth, like kind of how it's developed. And if you want, share like where you want it to go.
Yeah, I'd love to. So I always knew I wanted something like just something that was mine, something that I could be creative and make an impact. I love connecting with people. I'm a total extrovert. And so I didn't quite know like what business would fit all of those things. I couldn't quite figure it out. It took me a few years. And finally I did a mindset coaching program and I landed on coaching and just really helping females. Mindset is such a big piece of motherhood and life and business. And so that really was the link for everything. And so that mindset coaching program that I did, which is Quantum Coaching Academy, is really has transformed my business. So I actually have a personal brand that is just emilycollins.com. And I do mindset and business coaching. And then I have my podcast, High Vibes CEO Mama. And then my business partner, Natalie Bernacchi, she actually has a very similar business. And the way we met is kind of funny, but we came together because we said, wouldn't it be nice if we had this group of moms that are all starting businesses and supporting each other? And she said, yeah, you can start that. That would be great. Like, I'll join. And a week later, I said, well, what if you co host with me? And she said, okay, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And we thought like maybe we get 7 or 8 moms, just friends. And we ended up totally selling out. We had to just tell the next 7 people, we said, we'll start another group. Like this is just, if it's too big, it's not going to be as impactful. So we
Mm-hmm.
ended up starting a second group that totally sold out. We have a wait list for now our, what we call the rocket ship, which is our new mastermind that's both virtual and in person. It's a hybrid. So that is coming out next month, which is super exciting. But yeah, it really happened very organically. Like we did not start those groups saying that this is the business. But when we were in that room with those women and feeling how powerful it was and how amazing it is when get these women together and you're inspiring each other and supporting each other and helping each other, we both looked at each other. We just knew like, actually, this is the business. So most of our energy goes onto our joint brand, but we still have our individual personal brands that kind of funnel into the joint company.
Oh, that's so fun. I love that. Don't you love how it, whenever just the right people come along at that perfect timing and things that you would never even consider, all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is the thing. So, that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, I think it comes back to self trust. That was a big lesson for me over the last few years and just like really listening to your intuition. And when you follow that, it's amazing what will unfold for you.
Mm. Well, Emily, thank you so much for being on the podcast. And I'm going to leave all your information below in the show description. And this was so fun. And I just absolutely loved chatting with you. And we'll have to do it again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
That's it for today's episode. I hope you learned something new or had a breakthrough. If you loved this episode, take a second to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It lets me know you're enjoying this content and helps more moms find it. And if you know another mama who's struggling with overwhelm and burnout, share this with her. Let's spread the word that AI isn't just for corporate executives or tech nerds, it's for moms like us. Until next time, go make AI work for you.